Welcome viewers. I am Sriram Madhusudan Rao, working as an assistant professor in Chebrolu Engineering College. In this lecture, I would like to explain about domain theory in ferromagnetic materials. Actually, these are the series of lectures on magnetic properties. These are highly useful for first BTech students of all universities as well as the degree students of all universities. So kindly follow all these series of lectures to have a complete knowledge about the magnetic properties. So let us start the session. So in the last lecture I have explained about the types of magnetism. So in ferromagnetic materials there is a concept called domains. So even in the objects of magnetic field there are some regions in which the dipoles are aligned in the same direction. So if we look at the figure or the pointer, here this is a small portion of the material. So if you look at the material, these are the dipoles which are aligned in the same direction. So if you look at another segment, so in this also the dipoles are aligned in the same direction within the small part. You have to carefully remember this point. I am speaking within this small region, the dipoles are aligned in the same direction. If we take any segment, if we take randomly any segment, in any segment all the dipoles are aligned in the same direction. That means in parallel direction. So this phenomena is generally called spontaneous magnetization. This phenomena is called spontaneous magnetization. What is this phenomena? So even when H equal to 0, the dipoles tend to strongly align over small patches below Curie temperature. So this will occur only up to a certain temperature only. The temperature is Curie temperature. So this phenomena is called spontaneous magnetization. Already it was discussed in the last class, but as far as this concept is concerned, it is also useful. This spontaneous magnetization, you have to remember this. So again I am explaining this. That's why I am again explaining this. So these small patches or segments or portions, whatever you call it as, so technically these are called domains. So each part is a domain. They technically they have given a name domain. So in the below figure there is a colored arrows. The colored arrows are nothing but these. Suppose if we take this domain, so all these arrows are simply represented by a single arrow. So just like that. So you can find this type of images also. So what makes the dipole the single means there are five or six. Simply will the resultant will written as a single colored. So this is, so the main concept is the domains. The domains. There are domains in ferromagnetic materials. That is the main point you have to remember. There are domains, technically called domains. So there are domains in ferromagnetic materials as well as in ferrimagnetic materials also there are domains. So this is the basic domain structure in ferro and ferrimagnetic materials. The reason for that is spontaneous magnetization. So because of spontaneous magnetizations in the domains, the dipoles are aligned like this. So this is the general information about the domains. So generally the domain size will vary from 10 power minus 9 to 10 power minus 5 meter cube. Okay, already in the last slide we have seen the domains, existence of domains. So here I am giving the number of atoms per domain. Generally it varies from 10 power minus 9 to 10 power minus 5 meter cube and contains 10 power 17 to 10 power 21 atoms. So this is the numerical values of numerical values. So what happened? So this is the general, before applying the field, this is the general structure of domains. So all the dipoles are aligned in the different directions, random directions. Just for example, they have given in this order for general. As we have seen in the first slide, the dipoles are actually aligned in the random direction. So whenever we have applied the magnetic field, so whenever we have applied the magnetic field, that means H, magnetic field strength H. So the magnetization will takes place in two ways. So you have to remember that carefully. The magnetization will takes place in two ways. The first one is the due to displacement of the boundaries of the domains. Due to displacement of the boundaries of the domains. So this is the unmagnetized specimen. So the left figure A, the figure A represents the unmagnetized specimen. So here the B, we have applied the external magnetic field. So if you look at carefully in the diagram, so the arrow, this arrow and this arrow, generally this is these two domains. This is a domain and this is a domain. So this is a one domain. You have to watch this for explanation I wish to give. This is the one domain, this is the one domain. So whenever the specimen is placed in a magnetic field, that is we are applying the magnetic field. So here we, after applying the magnetic field, this domain has larger area, and this domain, in this domain the dipole, the arrow is in the opposite direction to that of field. You have to carefully look at that. This arrow is parallel to the external field and this arrow is opposite to that of external field. So what happens to this arrow? Actually this arrow here is this place. This place becomes wider. This domain becomes wider. This domain becomes this thinner. That means shrink. That means it contract. It expands in a simple way. In a general language, it has expanded, it has contracted. So what you can simply understand, so the domains which are in parallel direction are increasing and the domains which are in opposite direction to that of field are decreasing. So this is the simple concept of displacement of the boundaries of domains. So if you look at the sentences, you can simply understand. So when the specimen is placed in a magnetic field, the domains which are oriented favorable with respect to the external field increase in size. So which are favorable increase in size and which are in opposite direction are reduced. So this is the parallel, this is anti-parallel. So the parallel domain has increased, the opposite domain has decreased. So by this way the domains are getting reformed. That means the structure is changing. So if you look at the diagram carefully, what you can observe, there is a displacement of boundaries. So before applying field, the boundaries are like this. So after applying the field, the boundaries have displaced. So the magnetization had done. because of due to displacement of the boundaries of the domain. So this is the one way of magnetization. So the next, so I will explain the next case of magnetization. So before that, this is again the same figure. Look at only at the diagram. So this is before the applying magnetic field. The domains are like this. So after applying the magnetic field, this is parallel. This is parallel component. So this domain has increased. This is the opposite direction of domain. So this has reduced. So in this way, the boundaries were changed. So that means due to the displacement of boundaries, simple, which are parallel got increased, which are opposite got decreased. That is the simple magnetization. So the second way of magnetization is due to rotation of domains. Here the second type of magnetization was after applying the field, rotation of domains. So in strong magnetic field, the magnetization takes place mostly by the rotation of domains. So if we apply the magnetic field, strong magnetic field, that means it is having larger strength. So what happen? The domains will rotate. So if we look at, this is the before applying field A, this is the after applying field. So we have applied magnetic field in this direction. So this dipoles turn into this direction. If you look at, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So after 3 steps, first step, second step, third step, after fourth step, the domains try to align in the field direction. So this is the H, this is the field direction. So by rotating, and finally the dipoles tend to align in the field direction. When will this happen? When strong magnetic field. So this is, so you can understand by this sentence. So when the domain vectors are oriented parallel to the direction of field, the stage is called saturation limit. So whenever all the dipoles are turned in the field direction, what will happen? If all get aligned into the same direction, there will be no dipoles remaining. So it means finally saturation. So all the domains are aligned in the field direction by rotation. So that is called saturation limit. So that is the simple process, simple process of magnetization when there is a strong field. So when there is a weak field, the first process will take place. When there is a strong field, the second process will take place. So this is due to the rotation of domains. So this is the only diagram. So this is before applying field, that is unmagnetized specimen. Whenever we have applied field in this direction, the dipoles tend to align in the field direction by rotation. That is the concept you have to remember, by rotation. And finally they will tend to align in the field direction. When will it happen? When there is a strong magnetic field due to rotation of domains. This is the second process of magnetization. So suppose if we have removed the applied field, suppose we have completely removed or taken back the applied field, what will happen? The boundaries not at all move completely back into their original position. Okay, you have to remember this point also carefully. So whenever we have applied the whenever we have removing the applied magnetic field, the boundaries do not move completely back into their original position. That means the B figure cannot be like A figure, or the figure C cannot be like A figure, but it will have some change. That means there is some residual magnetization. That means there is some residual magnetization. So that is the magnetism left in the specimen, that is called generally residual magnetization. Suppose we have increased the temperature. What will happen? The domains are broken up and the ferromagnetic material becomes paramagnetic. Already we know that whenever temperature increases, the ordering of the dipoles decreases and the material becomes paramagnet, and whenever the temperature increases, it is finally becomes diamagnet. So again here in terms of domains we are understanding. So at high temperature the domains are broke up and the ferromagnetic material becomes paramagnet. So that is the another representation of that same slide. Thermal energy can randomize the spin. Suppose this is ferromagnetic, ordered. Generally we call it as ordered or parallel alignment. So whenever we have applying the heat, that means temperature is increases. Whenever it reaches the Curie temperature, what will happen? The dipoles, the ordering decreases, and finally it will align in random directions. So these are the different Curie temperatures for different elements. For iron it is 1043 Kelvin. For cobalt it is 1400 Kelvin. For nickel it is 631 Kelvin. For gallium it is 298 Kelvin. So in this way, whenever we have increased the temperature, the ordering gets decreases, and finally at Curie temperature it becomes paramagnetic. So this is the A figure is the unmagnetized specimen. Suppose we have applied magnetic field. So when the magnetic field is weak, here W, I have written W. W means there is a weak field. If there is a weak field, the dipoles which are parallel, their the domains get increases, and the domains which are anti-parallel to the field direction get decreases. So this is the magnetization when there is a weak field. Suppose if we have applied very strong field, so in strong fields what will happen? The domains will rotate and finally align in the this field direction. So when there is a strong field, it will due to rotation of domains. When there is a weak field, it is due to displacement of boundaries. These are the 2 points you have to remember. Simply you draw these 3 diagrams and explain in your own words. Figure A is the unmagnetized specimen. When there is a weak field, the magnetization takes place due to displacement of boundaries. That means parallel to the field gets increases, opposite to the field gets decreases. This is the one concept related to figure B. And if we have applied strong field, what will happen? The dipoles will rotate and finally tend to align in the field direction. They will, after a particular field, they will completely align in the field direction and gets saturation. So that is the simple explanation of domain theory of ferromagnetism. So once again I am giving you how to write an examination using the concept. Write figure A. draw figure A, draw figure B, draw figure C. So this is the unmagnetized specimen. The magnetization will takes place in two types. The first one is due to displacement of boundaries. The second one is due to rotation of domains. So by this way you can simply write in examination. This is a very important question. So thank you viewers for watching this video.